Alfonso Cuadra is a dynamic leader who's passionate about sharing his story and inspiring others to create the life they want and never give up on their dreams. He is in the business of changing lives and has a special gift in his ability to connect with people and move them forward. Alfonso is president and CEO of the Cuadra Group. He has traveled to over 30 countries and has shared his story with thousands of audiences around the world. He is a dedicated father, entrepreneur, professional speaker, TV host and producer, success coach, author, and real estate investor. Alfonso believes that with the right mindset, anyone can take charge of their life and design their own success. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Alfonso.
Good luck, man.
Hello. How are you? How was your summer? You guys didn't have a good summer. How was your summer? Okay, we'll try it again, because it seems like you didn't have a good summer. How was your summer? Are you excited to be here, high school, first day? How many? Oh my goodness, no? You have a whole year to go. Okay, let's go back. How was your summer? Okay, let's show a little bit of enthusiasm for the year of high school. Are you excited to be here? Okay. Well, it's your first day of the next 4 years of your life. Are you excited about that? No, okay. Now, you have some people here in purple shirts. Raise your hand. Purple shirts. What does that mean exactly? Huh? You're the Link crew. Give them a round of applause, please. We have some teachers in the back. Teachers, give them a round of applause. Give yourselves a round of applause. Because you showed up. You showed up. Half the battle's just showing up. Now, how many people here love music? If you love music, raise your hand and say, yeah! What are some of your favorite artists? Whoa, one at a time, right here. Nicki Minaj. Okay, who else? Sam Smith, make some noise. Over here. Chief Keef. Make some noise. Who else? My man. Lady Gaga. Okay, make some noise. All right. Who else? Over here. Ryan. Oh, Luke Bryan. Okay, make some noise. Who else? Oh, Beyonce. Okay. Then if we talk about Beyonce, we got to talk about Jay-Z. That's what I grew up with right there. What else? Now, I'm going to ask you a question. What are some of the things that these people have in common, do you think? Besides the obvious, okay, they sing, they're musicians. But what else do they have in common? They're what? Oh, they're leaders. Yes, they're leaders. They're successful, right? And they're successful in their career. Give a man a round of applause and her a round of applause. What else? What else do they have in common? What else do they have in common? Okay, right here. Again, we'll come back to you. What do they have? They're known. They're famous. Can we also say that a lot of these people overcame some challenges to get to where they are? Can we say that? Yeah, of course. They also developed a hard work ethic. They worked hard to get to where they want to get to. They say that it takes about 10 to 15 years to become an overnight success. Do you guys agree? Some of them use their passions to develop successful careers. Can we all agree on that? Say, yeah. Yeah. So, I've come here today to share a story with you, a personal story, a life story, where I overcame some challenges. I also used my passion mixed with hard work to open a successful hip-hop clothing store that was Canada-wide, and eventually found out that that was my passion in life. Are you guys interested in that story? Say, yeah. Yeah. It's a hard question because sometimes I might ask that question, you might say, no. No, I'm just joking. So my story, now you guys, how old are you guys? 14? Okay, how many people here are 14? Raise your hand. 14, say yeah. Yeah. How many people here are 13? Say yeah. Yeah. How many, 12? No, I'm just joking. One guy in the back?
Yeah, there's
12?
only one guy.
There's one guy. Who's 12?
A deer.
All right, okay. Well, my story starts when I was 15 years old. At 15 years old, I was homeless, a high school dropout, and I was panhandling for change on Rideau Street, downtown Ottawa. And I was lost. I was those kids that you see, you walk by, and you say, there goes another lost soul. How many people have been downtown and you see those homeless people and you say, well, there's no way that could be me, or that person's gone. How many people have had that? I've seen those people. Well, that was me. And at 15 years old, I had a lot of anger, and I had a lot of reasons why I was there. I had a lot of blame. First, I blamed the country I came from for all the war. I also blamed my parents. I blamed my teachers. I blamed the world. I blamed the people in the world. And I remember thinking, if everybody in the whole entire world would just change, I would be okay. How many times have we felt that way? That, if everybody just leave me alone. If everybody just changed, I would be okay. Yes, some people, okay. Perfect. Well, actually my story starts off a little bit earlier than that. It's in the late 70s where I was born in El Salvador. How many people here know El Salvador? Raise your hand. If you know El Salvador, say yeah. Yeah. Okay, anybody here from El Salvador? Few people? If you're from El Salvador, say yeah. Well, if you know El Salvador, it's this little teeny, little bitty country in Central America. It's not even the size of Quebec, really. And this country in the late 70s, early 80s was going through a civil war. And my mom was owner and director of API News Agency, a news agency that would often report about civil rights abuses being committed by our government. Governments don't like that. The first indicator? Well, I was 2 years old in the crib, we're at home. Some soldiers knocked on the door, and they demanded that they would search our house. When my mom came into my room, there was a soldier with a machine gun pointed at my head. I was 2 years old. Of course, my mom defused the situation, but it was a sign of things to come. Eventually, she was completely shut down, her whole operation, and she was put in prison to wait for a sentencing that could potentially keep her there for 30 to 40 years. I was 2 years old at the time, and I went to live with my grandparents, where they had to keep me in hiding for over 3 years. They were afraid that the government would kidnap me as a tool against my mom. How many of you have little brothers at home or cousins between 3 to 4 years old? Raise your hand. Okay. Imagine they're not allowed going outside or interacting with other kids. That was me. I was a complete prisoner. In fact, a funny story. You guys have pets, right? Pets? You have pets? Well, in my country, we bring a chicken in the house. And it's a little bit funny. But we bring a chicken in the house, we fatten it up, and then we eat it, right? Here you go to the supermarket, you buy a chicken, but back home this is what we do. We bring a chicken and we fatten it up, and that's, we eat it later. So this chicken had become my friend. I named it Rodrigo. I know it's a guy's name. But that was my chicken, my friend. It was like, and every day I used to play with it. I mean, try playing tag with a chicken. It's like, so this chicken was my friend. And can you imagine the horror in my life when my grandfather decided that that's going to be the dinner? My best friend in the whole world. So that was the end of the chicken. But just to illustrate to you how lonely I was at 3 years old. But because of that, I believe that I did develop a real creative mind. I did have a whole world that in friends and people that they didn't exist, but I had invented them. Of course, my mom got released from prison. And thanks to Amnesty International and some government entities that stepped in, and we came to Montreal. And Canada, it's safe, right? We all agree Canada's safe. We love it here. Raise your hand if we love it here. Yeah, okay, we're safe here. Our government was so powerful and so corrupt that they actually sent death squads to find us in Montreal. We were chased and harassed all over Montreal until it was no longer safe for us to be in Canada. We actually ended up at a women's shelter, and we had to flee Canada. Can you imagine? Most people are trying to get into Canada. We had to flee Canada because it was no longer safe for us to be here. So we went back home to another country in Central America called Nicaragua. Nicaragua, some people are here. You know Nicaragua? Oh, all right. See, you guys know. Anybody here from Nicaragua? 1, 2, 3, okay. Again, I can't see over there. Okay, so Nicaragua, another country in Central America, beautiful country, beaches. I had friends there. This is when I went to school. And we would have stayed, but another war broke out in that country. So we were on the run once again. Most of my youth was actually spent hiding from governments, running away from countries, going from country to country, until we decided to come back to Canada, Vancouver, BC. In 1986, I was 9 years old. And during this time, there was a lot of civil war. And I remember we were put in a motel with a lot of other landing refugees. The whole motel was full. And this is where I saw color television for the very first time in my life. And I remember the abundance of Canada. I remember the feeling of anything being possible here. Do we all have that feeling that anything is possible in Canada? Raise your hand. And this is something that I remember it like it was yesterday. School was tough for me. You see, I had missed a lot of educational opportunities moving from school to school, country to country. And in grade 7, I was diagnosed with a few learning disabilities. I was diagnosed with dyslexia, a speech impediment, and ADD, which I think now they've changed the name, the term for it is ADHD. It means the same thing. You guys know what dyslexia is? Dyslexia, well, some of you, yeah, some of you. And dyslexia, what happens is you can't put together some of those words, and it did affect my speech. So school was tough for me, and I felt a strong push to work on trades. They said, Alfonso, you probably won't amount to much. You should take up a trade. And they put me in special ed. And we had all these people determining what I was supposed to do with my life. How many people have felt that a lot of other people are trying to make decisions for us? It's not fun, is it? So I felt very angry. And not that there's anything wrong with taking up a trade. If that's what you want to do, it's great. But I didn't have a passion for that. That wasn't my passion. And I remember being put in special ed, and they labeled me disabled. And that made me feel bad. Of course, eventually I got fed up, and at 15 years old, I dropped out of high school. Because of some turmoil at home, at 15 years old, I also left home. And at 15 years old, I was completely on my own. How many people here would agree that that is too young to be by yourself? I agree too. But you know what? At first, I'm going to tell you, at first your friends will help you. Your friends' parents will take you in. But let's face it, you're not their kid. Soon, you just become another mouth to feed, and they'll have to cut you loose. You'll go from friend to friend to friend until you run out of friends. Now you're completely homeless. You'll sleep on a park bench. Sometimes it gets cold, you'll sleep in a bank. You know that area at night where you go take out your cash in the ATM machine? And I still remember the first time I slept in a bank. I'll never forget it. It was cold outside. I went inside to get warmed up. And people start using that ATM machine around 6 a.m. And they come in, and the last thing they expect to see is someone sleeping in there. It's like surprise, like they're in shock. And they look at you. They look at you like you're filth, like you're dirty, like you're the gum of the bottom of their shoes. Some of them say, "Why don't you get a job?" I was no longer part of society at that point. And those were hard times for me. And my life kept getting worse, and I kept blaming the outside for my problems. The turning point for me, my tipping point, came at 17. At 17, my girlfriend at the time tells me, "I'm pregnant, it's yours, and I'm keeping the baby." Raise your hand if you think 17 is too young to be having kids. It is. I had no clue. I had no clue of what this really meant. I couldn't even picture myself being a father. Until I was in that hospital room, and that nurse walked in the room, and she put my daughter in my arms. Her name's Talia. And that day changed my life. That day, I said to myself, I want to make this little girl proud of me. And I discovered purpose. And I'm not saying that you need to have kids to discover your purpose in life, because that's not what I'm saying at all. But once you can find your purpose, that thing that you want to do, that thing that you want to do for the rest of your life, and you have a reason why you're doing it, and that reason why can resonate with you, and that reason why it can make you even want to cry is so powerful, you're unstoppable. That little girl changed my life. I decided to look myself directly into the mirror and say, Alfonso, you have to change. Change my mindset, my personal philosophy, change my attitude. I said, I want my daughter to say, my dad, he owns the building, not my dad cleans the building. So I went back to high school. I worked hard. I graduated high school at 19 years old with a vision, a dream, and an idea of opening my very own urban clothing store. And I'm going to tell you, you will have a dream, and people will say, you're crazy. That's not possible for you. They said, you have no money, you have no experience, you have no credit, you have no clue about running a business. What do you know about running a business, Alfonso? And you will have those obstacles in your life. You'll say, I want to do this. And then people say, no, you can't do that. How many people here have had a dream? Someone says, well, it's not for you. Raise your hand. I'm here to tell you, do it anyways. Do it anyways. Go for it anyways. And that's what I did. I talked to over 100 people about my dream. Most of them said, you're crazy. Some of them said, well, how can I help you? And I managed to put together about $2,700, thanks to friends that wanted to invest in my business. But $2,700 is not a lot of money to start a business. Can we all agree on that? It's not a lot of money. I mean, that's what probably your parents spend on your back to school supplies. Seriously. But I had a dream. And to make a long story short, I took those $2,700 and I turned it into a clothing store, a hip-hop clothing store with 15 locations across Canada. 2001, 2002, 2003, all the way up to 2009, we were voted the #1 urban hip-hop store in Canada. At the same time, I went to China. I started developing my own brands and products and distributing those brands and products throughout Canada. And I just fell in love with being an entrepreneur. And I discovered that was my real calling in life. That was what was meant for me, is to be an entrepreneur, open a business. And for you, it can mean anything. The sky's the limit. But the real question that I've come to ask you here today, if you allow me to ask you this question, is how did I go from being a 15-year-old, war-torn, homeless high school dropout, sleeping in banks, to running a successful corporation across Canada, being voted number 1 in Canada before the age of 20? Did I get lucky? Nah. If you believe in luck. Did the world change? No. Did my teachers change? Did my parents change? Did the people change just like I wanted them at 15 years old? What I discovered is that for things to change in my life, I had to change. For anything to change in my life, first I had to change. Change my mindset, my personal philosophy, my attitude towards life. Once I changed, everything changed. Now I live my dream life. Why? Well, I can tell you this. When my daughter's 19, by the way, Talia, she's going to Algonquin in business administration, but when she was 12 years old, she was talking to her friend, and she said, you know what? My dad owns the building. And I discovered how powerful a purpose is. I was unstoppable because those words is what I wanted to hear from my daughter, make her proud. All of this to tell you that to overcome challenges, to develop that life that you want, you have 4 years now of high school. Some of you 5. We're not gonna go there. But 4 years, for the 4 years you're gonna be here, you get to develop and design your life. Are you excited for that? Say yeah. Yeah. I don't think you're excited. If you're excited for that, say yeah. Yeah. Basically, the power of everything in your life is in your hands. Your belief of yourself. How other people can affect your belief. Now, do you believe that you can do it? Sure. Okay, let me play a game with you here. You guys want to play a game? Say yeah. Yeah. I need 28 participants. I need 28 people to line up at this side over here. 28 participants. Stand up. Come here. Line up here. 28 participants. Come on. We got purple shirts. Come on, guys. Line up here, 28 participants. 28 participants. We're going to play a little card game here. You guys ready for this? Say yeah. How many we have here? Can someone do the counting for me? 56. Someone said, okay, we have how many? We have 28? 15? Let's get some more... Make some noise for these guys. So, okay, you can stand on the stage. Come on the stage now. Come over here a little bit. Come over here. So I'm going to go by. You're going to say your name. Say your name.
Yasin.
Mariah, Ria, Haley, Katarina, Kiana, Jenica, Chloe, Kiana,
Jason. Ryan.
Arcurit,
Chris.
Grenouer, Harmony, Emily,
Cameron.
Rebecca, Karina,
Kanishk.
Malak, Rolla, Riza, Annie, Sabiha, Marini, Kelly.
Give them a round of applause, please. Okay, so this game is going to be, how many push-ups can we do? I'm just joking. We're going to play a card game, actually. Card game. You guys know how to play cards, right? Yeah. Okay. So in a little second, I'm going to give you a card, and you're going to hold it with the face, not the back end to the audience. Okay? But you are not to look at your card. You are not to what, guys? Look at your card. If you see anybody looking at their card, you're going to let me know, right? Okay, let me know. You're disqualified. You're out of here. No, I'm just joking. So you're going to hold it to your chest. You're not to look at your card. Okay? Sounds good? So we're going to have a volunteer here. She's going to pass the cards. Okay, we're going to go to the end. Put one to your chest. Put it to your chest. Okay, don't look at it. And then give it to the rest. Or pass it on. Put one. Pass it on. Okay. And you're going to tell me if they're peeking, huh? Tell me if they're peeking. So you're going to hold this card to your chest. And you guys understand the value of what's on the card, right? The value of what's on the card. King is high. 10 is, well, 10. Don't look at your card. Don't look at your card. Yeah. Wrong way. Make sure it's... Do not look at your card. It's very important. Do not look at your card. You cannot look at your card.
Is ace the lowest?
We're going to say ace is low. Is that okay, guys? Ace is low? Okay, sounds good. So everybody's going to have this card. And when I say go, what you're going to do is you're going to take the card and you're going to hold it to your forehead like this. Okay? Where the face is going to be facing the audience. Then I'm going to ask you, please still come over here, but within that in the stage is mingle and walk around. What are you going to do? Mingle and walk around. And you are to treat each other without touching each other. Please don't touch each other. But you are to treat each other based on the value of the card that you have. You cannot look at your own card, but you can look at everybody else's. You guys understand this?
Yeah.
Do you guys understand this? Are you ready? Say, I'm ready. No, you're not ready. Hold on. You're not ready. If you're ready, say, I'm ready. Okay, we're going to play this game. So we're missing one. Okay, we have one more person. We can go one more person. Who's going to be the next? Okay. What's your name?
Maddie.
Maddie. Give her a round of applause. So, at the count of 3, you guys will go. Don't come too close to the stage. I don't want anybody falling off the stage. But you are to commingle with each other. And make sure you talk to everyone. And you are to treat each other based on the value of their card that they have. 1, 2, 3, go. Walk around. Make sure you talk to everyone. Guys, cheer them on and say, woo! Keep going. Keep going. Make sure you talk to everyone. Okay, oh sorry guys, I made a mistake. Ace is high. Okay, stop. Stop. Are you having fun so far?
Yeah.
Okay. So, you see the X here? You see the X? This will be low. Over there will be the highest. So, whoa. Wherever you think you belong, go to where you think you belong. You are still not to look at your card. Over here is the highest to lowest.
Highest here?
Yeah. Highest to lowest.
Can't tell you. You're like Beyonce. Am I Beyonce? No, you're not Beyonce.
Are you guys secure about your location?
Yep.
Are you guys secure? Guys, how did they do? Give them a round of applause. There's still some people out of place. Is everybody in place?
I'm outside.
How do they do, guys? How do they do? Some of these guys, okay. How do they do? What do you think? How do they do? Are they kind of accurate? Kind of, yeah, okay, perfect. Now, you can look at your card, of course. Look at your card. Give him a round of applause. Thank you very much. Please give me back my card. I will come and haunt you later. Thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. You guys are great, thank you. All right. So, what is my point for this? Do I just want to play card games with you guys? Maybe. What's my point? Who can give me my, okay.
Just with like the value of your card, people treat you differently.
Good, good. Give a round of applause. All this to tell you, to just illustrate to you that sometimes we place ourselves in life based on how other people view us. We allow other people to come inside here and make a decision for us. I remember, growing up, I was in special ed, but before that, I was in regular classes, and the teacher would, make me stand up and read out loud. And I was, very shy, and because of my dyslexia, I couldn't put the words together, and I remember I would fumble over the words, and everybody would laugh at me. How many people have ever felt like that? Just, a moment where everybody's laughing at you, and you feel kind of ashamed, and that was me. That was me. And they said, Alfonso, they did all these tests. They're like, oh, you have dyslexia, you have ADD, you have a speech impediment, and we're going to put you in this specialized classes, special ed. And I remember how I felt almost relieved. Oh, that's why. So you know what? I don't have to read out in class. So Mrs. Stewart was the teacher, and our special ed teacher. She said, Alfonso, okay, it's your turn to get in front of the class and read. And I said, well, I can't. She said, what do you mean you can't? I said, well, I have dyslexia. She said, what? I said, yeah, people said I have dyslexia, I can't read. I shouldn't read. And she said, she stopped everything she was doing, and I'll never forget that she said, never allow someone else's opinion or label on you become your own. Never. And since that day, even though I did learn something powerful, since that day I knew that whatever other people's perception of me was just that, their perception. Now, I have been sharing my story. I've been to Japan, China, I've been in the US, all over Canada. I've written books, I have a television program. I fell in love with personal development and teaching people these skills. And remember I told you I didn't want to read? I've read over 500 books. And all to self-educate myself, because I don't want other people to determine what I'm supposed to know. And I've narrowed it down to 3 steps that anybody can take in order to live their life of success. And I want to share these 3 things with you. Is that okay? Say yeah. Yeah. So 3 things that you're going to need for the next 4 years in your life in order to live that life of success. Okay, you guys ready? Say I'm ready. Ready. If you're ready, say I'm ready. That's better. So step number 1, and you know what? The biggest compliment that I could ever have, you could ever give me, is that in years from now, you maybe send me an email or a tweet or a Facebook contact. You tell me, Alfonso, those little things that you told me, even if it's just one thing, if it's one thing that you can take from this, that's all. But the very first step is you need to figure out, what do you want? Do you know people walk around don't even know what they want? Do you guys know what you want out of life? Some of you, okay. The rest of you need to figure that out. And it needs to be in detail. The more detailed, the better. The more specific, the better. Figure out what you want. Also, write it down. How many people here journal? Some of you in the back? Okay, journal. Write things down. You want to know how powerful writing things down was? When my daughter was born, I decided to go, I went to school. I wanted to finish school, but I also needed to have a job. And I became a dishwasher. Has anybody ever had a job as a dishwasher? Any dishwashers out here? No? Well, maybe you wash dishes at home. Anybody wash dishes at home? Okay, it's 100 times worse than that. I promise you. And you're pretty much at the lowest of the low in your school. Not in your school, in your restaurant. And in the restaurant, everybody comes and dumps stuff on you. You have to clean up every mess. And to keep myself motivated, to keep myself on track, I would go in the back during break and on a piece of paper, I would write down all my goals and dreams on this piece of paper. One day, a line cook, one of the cooks came to the back in the staff room and he said, "What are you doing?" And I said, "Well, never mind." And how many people here would agree that writing your goals and dreams on a piece of paper, that's a personal thing? Would you agree? Yes. And that was a personal thing to me. Anyways, he ripped this paper out of my hand and he started to recite these goals and dreams to the rest of the staff, almost making fun of me. But the funny thing was, I achieved everything on that piece of paper before 20 years old. I had to rewrite my goals and dreams at 20 years old because I had achieved them. So all this to tell you that it's powerful. The most powerful thing you can do is write your goals down on a piece of paper. Why? It becomes real. It becomes real. You take a dream, you write it down, it turns into a goal. You put a little time on it. And it has to be in balance. It can't just be about Ferraris. How many people here want a Ferrari? Yeah? Okay. It can't just be all about Ferraris. Even though it's nice and a Ferrari is nice. But in this list of goals, you need to have educational goals, career goals, relationship goals, spiritual goals, financial goals, health goals. Do we agree that we need to have a balance? It's okay to go, want to have a Ferrari, but you need to have all these other components because the more you don't want a balance, if you don't want balance, there'll be a discord and you'll be moving further away from the things that you want. Step number 2. What was step number 1? Figure out what? Figure out what you want. Step number 2 is figure out who. Who is the person you need to become in order to be a match to those goals. You see, everybody's goals and dreams are up here, but they're still over here. What is the person that you need to become to match those goals? You see, everything you have in life and everything you will have is because of the person you are. If you want more, you simply must become more. There's something wrong with this mic. You guys hear static? Could someone grab me the other mic here? So, everything you have and everything you want is over here. Everything you have is because of the person you are. Everything you'll have is because of the person you become. Who? What do you need to know? Who do you need to know? What do you need to do? Is that ready? That mic? Just check it. Go 1 2 1 2.
1 2 1 2.
Okay. No. It's a chord. It's with a chord. 1 2 1 2. Can you guys hear me? Okay. This is better, right? So you need to design that person that you need to become. How many books you'll have to read? What kind of books? What kind of people you'll have to associate yourself with to be a match to that dream life that you want? And it needs to be from your perspective of success. Success meaning success in all realms. But to some, success might mean riding a Harley down an open road. Success might mean getting a degree to some people. To others, might mean wearing a blazer and running a company. It needs to be from your perspective of success. What was step number 2? Figure out who. Figure out who you need to become. Say it with me. Figuring out who I need to become, for you say. To be a match to that life that you want. And step number 3, the most powerful one, is the one that you're going to need because you can't do this without the third step, is become that person now. What was step number 3?
Become that person.
This very second, take action. The second you decide to become, that's when you have the power to move mountains. Let me ask you a question. Do you want everything you've ever wanted? Say yes. Yes. If I went on the street and I asked 1,000 people if they want everything they've ever wanted, what do you think they would say? Yes. And if everybody wants what they've ever wanted, why doesn't anybody get? Well, I'm going to tell you this. Everybody wants, but they're unwilling to become. Everybody wants it, but they're unwilling to become it. If you want it, you need to become it. Then you will have it. You see, this is very simple. It's like a reinvention of yourself. Figuring out what you want out of life, figuring out who is that person in detail that will match that life, and becoming that person now, in whatever form. What was step number 1? Write goals. No, but step number 1 is figure out what your goals and write those down. Step number 2? Figure out who. Yes. She got me. Figuring out who and write that down. And the third step is?
Become it now.
Become that person now. What about tomorrow? Is that okay? Because it has to be?
Now.
Say it with me, everybody.
Now.
Again.
Now.
Again.
Now.
Louder.
Now.
Again.
Now.
I love you guys. You guys are beautiful. Give yourselves a round of applause, actually. There will be some work involved. Some people say, well, you have to build this hard work ethic. You have to build it. A famous speaker and business philosopher, Les Brown, said, life is a fight for territory. Once you stop fighting for what you want, what you don't want will automatically take over. Life is a fight for territory. Once you stop fighting for what you want, what you don't want will automatically take over. And I'm going to tell you, it means that if you've worked hard to get somewhere, once you're there, people just tend to relax. Oh, I'm here. I'm good. No, you got to keep going. You got to keep fighting. You got to keep working hard. You got to build that strong work ethic. You guys ever heard the story about the hound dog? No. Well, there was a hound dog. He was on a porch, and you had the owner sitting on the rocking chair. And the hound dog was just on the porch, at the edge of the porch, and was going like this. Hounding, is like crying. And there was this guy, he was walking by, and he's like, sir, excuse me, did you notice your dog is crying? And the dog was just like this. And the guy's like, yeah. Sir, like, why? Why aren't you doing anything about it? He's like, oh yeah, no problem. He does it all the time. He's just sitting on a nail. He's sitting on a nail? And the dog's like this. And he's sitting on a nail? Well, why didn't he just move? Well, it doesn't hurt bad enough. It doesn't hurt bad enough. That's how society acts. Well, how many people do you know that they're sitting there complaining about life and things and, this has gone wrong, and they don't do anything about it? How many people do you know like that? Raise your hand. Get off the nail. Get off the nail. Take action. Build that hard work ethic. Get involved. Get involved in your school. Be a leader. Get involved with your family. Get involved in your organization. You have 4 years here. Make everything count. Make every experience count here. Why? Guess what? You'll be full and rich of experiences rather than things. How many people can agree to that? Get involved. Say yeah. Yeah. Be a leader. Get involved. Turn to the person next to you and give them a high five and say, "You are awesome." You are awesome. You are awesome. You are awesome. You see, the power of overcoming challenges, the power of building something in your life is in your hands. Purpose. Figuring out what you want. Becoming that person. Taking those action steps today. Because the way you do anything is the way you'll do everything. Repeat after me. The way you do anything is the way you'll do everything. Remember that. Remember that. You guys are beautiful. I love you. I love you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, teacher.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
On behalf of LDH, I'd like to thank Mr. Alfonso Cuadra for coming here to speak to you guys today. So let's hear another round of applause.
Thank you. I can take questions, yeah. Actually, I have an illustration here. I'll take a few questions. You have questions, but I have an illustration here. I totally forgot, but remember I told you about taking action? I took action, and I was able to write this book. And now I've come here, I want to give it to somebody. Somebody, I want to give it to somebody right now. Right now, I'd love to give it to somebody. Anybody, I'm trying to choose who I should give it to. I want to give it to somebody. I want to give it to somebody. I wanted to give it to somebody. I want to give it to somebody. I want to give it to somebody.
You want to give it to somebody?
Okay, my man. Why did I give him the book? What's your name first?
Hassan.
Hassan, give him a round of applause. Hold up the book. Hold up the book. Give him a round of applause. Why did I give him the book? Why did I give him the book? Stay right here. Where are you going? Why did I give him the book?
I don't know. He took it from you.
Okay, he took it. Okay, go. He took action. My man, he took action. How many people wanted to get up? Raise your hand. How many people wanted to get up and come here, get the book? You did? Okay. Why didn't you? Hard work ethic, take action. Give him a round of applause. Thank you. Okay, guys. I'll take some questions, a few questions. How much time do we have, actually? 5 minutes, okay?
What is your clothing line called?
It was called Rugged Culture. And actually, about a few years ago, a big company came and bought me out. Gave me a big check. Okay. Any other questions over there? The guy in the vertical stripes. What? I can't hear that. Can someone? Oh, a company out of Montreal. That's another story. Another. We'll set a separate speech here for that.
What are they called?
What's that?
The company that bought you out, what are they called?
Well, actually, the location. You guys know Skyware? Downtown Rito. Actually, they took over the location. Yeah. So that's the kind of. Okay. What's the name of the TV show? The TV show is called Success by Design Show, and you can catch it on Rogers 22. And it's going to be. We're going for a network syndication soon. My mom, very beautiful lady. Of course, she's still around, and she lives here in Ottawa. Thank you for asking. Thank you. Any other questions? Oh, my man. I do not have a Ferrari. What's that? My man said, do you have a Ferrari? Any other questions? Okay, so we're done with the questions. Thank you very much once again. I love you guys. You guys been great. Pass it to Graham, one of these guys, Graham, and I think they have something going on next.